the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, Jared DuBois, live on a Sunday evening, hanging out, talking about soccer. We haven't started yet. We're going to talk about soccer.
Easy like Sunday morning.
You can't do that while the intro music is still going.
Oh, God, but who doesn't love the Commodores? I had a conversation with somebody. We're sitting at a hot tub at a friend's house, right? And
no, wait, hold on.
There's like three couples. We're all in the hot tub.
Were their clothes on?
Well, I mean, bathing suits, yes.
Man, it's so hard for me sometimes to appreciate your Southern California lifestyle. Fire pits, pools, hot tub parties, the keys going into bowls, and the whole thing. I don't even know.
So we're chilling there. Well, you'll appreciate this. You're going to appreciate this because the person whose house I'm at, for some reason, the soundtrack of the evening on a beautiful warm evening in the hot tub was Bad Bunny. I'm like, screw this. This sucks.
Why? Wait, hold on. Why?
It wasn't the vibe I wanted, dude. It wasn't the vibe I wanted, man.
Okay. All right.
And then I'm like, oh, you know what would be good right now? Like some Commodores. And not a single person in that hot tub could name a Commodore song.
Is Easy Like Sunday Morning, is that a Commodore song or is that a Lionel Richie song?
No, see, he's saying it since the Commodores, but it was a Commodore song.
Okay, you might know the difference between a Commodore song and a Lionel Richie song. I'm not sure I know off the top of my head, except for the one about walking on the ceiling. I know that's a Lionel Richie song.
Dancing on the ceiling?
Dancing on the ceiling. Sorry, did I say walking on the ceiling? Yeah, I've forgotten my
night shift. Oh God, Commodore.
Sure.
Great
vibe. We were just talking in the bestie Slack about my appreciation for Bill Withers. That's the vibe I think you need.
That's a good vibe. That's a great vibe. That's more though, like that's not hot tub vibe. That's I'm chilling on my back porch with like a drink with some ice in it kind of vibe.
It's not sexy times vibe. And when you have three couples in a hot tub together on a spring evening in Southern California, you need sexy time vibes.
There's a lot of bubbles. You don't know whose foot's touching whose. You can't see the bottom. You assume it's yours.
That's not my foot. All right. We're going to talk about a couple of things tonight. You may have seen that our image for the show is Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and that's because Zlatan did a Zlatan thing and talked about how amazing he is. So we're going to get into his statement and whether or not it's true. We're going to get to the bottom of Jared. It's a best soccer show investigation. I need
Simon and Simon.
Order. Yeah, that's an old ref. Nobody's going to get that. We need the Law and Order, like dun, 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 that thing. We need that.
Well, who's like the crime fighting team these days? Who's the detective duo these days? It's modern.
It's
Turner and Hooch.
It's Will Arnett and whoever shows up that week for Murderville. Is I guess I don't know. Turner.
All anyone knows about like solving crimes anymore is like superheroes like Marvel and stuff like that. I don't know.
Well, we're not turning into a true crime.
So I want to say there's no Cagney and Lacey anymore. You know, like there's Starsky and Hutch.
Dating yourself.
There used to be like whole shows that revolved around two people, and the whole show was just their last names, and they fought crime. And sometimes they slid across a hood.
Hold on, wait. Let me paint you a picture. One of them is straight laced by the book.
Always
things official. The other one is a loose cannon. He goes by his own.
You got to have your tango, and you got to have your cash.
Wait. So does that make me the straight guy?
Oh, you're the straight guy.
I don't know if I like that. I can get a little crazy every now and then.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm the Skarsky. I'm going to have the flashy, like, cable knit sweater.
I honestly would not have known which one was the...
I don't know either. I just picked one.
I'm the Starsky. You're the Hutch.
Good thing about Simon and Simon, we're both a Simon. Who knows which one we are?
That's true. We're also going to do...
Shadow Squad.
By suggestion of Mr. Jared DuBois, we're going to go Shadow Squad
A special
today.
Shadow Squad.
Now, look, the World Cup is coming. The United States is qualified. We pretty much know, I don't know what, 9/10 of the roster at this point, Jared? I mean, if you were to try to do the math on this, what are we at? Like 93.4% of the roster is basically
on a starting 11?
Well, I just mean in terms of like even the bench is pretty much sorted if people are healthy. Like we know.
Yeah, I think there's
Alakazam
2 to
there.
3 spots available for the World Cup right now.
Yes.
I think there's about that.
But that being said, we know there are some positions that are pretty soft. You got to get those positions hard. You got to get them rocked up. We're talking about a shadow squad full of guys who we would not be upset to see called into June camp, right? This is what this is. We're going to make an 11 because this is what we do. We're going to make an 11 of players who probably deserve a shot in most cases. Some of them
They're in
might
the
be
conversation that have 0 qualifying appearances during this qualifying session. So
Zero.
if you had to
That's
field at
right.
11 players in their positions that did not play in a qualifier that could deserve maybe a look, what would your 11 look like? So we
Right.
each made one. We're going to compare them.
Yeah, so that we're going to be doing that on the show tonight. Was there anything else? I think
I mean, there's a stadium opening in Nashville.
stadium open. Yeah, they played a guitar riff and 30,000 people went bonkers.
I think Morgan was there. She may have to call
Morgan-
in.
she-
We have to. I'm not calling. We may have to bring her on just to talk about it. So Morgan, I'm not sure if you're ready. I don't know if you'll be any drinks tonight or not, but let's be ready, girl.
Before we do that, though, I do want to talk about a couple of national bits of national team news. One, Daryl DK done for June. Already decided by West Brom or by Daryl and West Brom that he is not coming to camp.
Put him on
if
ice.
Berhalter, which is rough and will have shadow squad implications. I think it probably means no World Cup for Daryl DK. I don't know how you can possibly try to get him into this team. Look, there have been cases where a player has suddenly appeared just on the eve of the World Cup, and maybe he's in good form, and you have a massive hole at that position, and you go with that guy. But man, I just don't know if it's going to be Daryl DK's time.
Well, we'll see. Maybe he's in my lineup. I haven't told you who my strikers are yet, so
Okay, well,
don't pour salt all over my picks.
Your shadow squad really, that's going to be nice. But
You
I'm
and I have
thinking
both done that now. Instead of Shadow Squad, we've both said Shadow because it's hard to say it like Shadow Squad.
Shadows. Did I roll the tape back? I didn't
Roll the
say
tape.
Shadow. The other bit of news, somebody mentioned it. Here it is from Danny. Thoughts on the tweet that's now deleted that Pulisic's dad put out about him loving Chelsea and a tough 6 months ahead for Christian. Now, I did not know the tweet was deleted. Mark Pulisic, I saw this on one of the mini aggregators of U.S. men's national team news on Instagram. And it basically did say,
I don't see any controversy about that.
he said something about the sad part is he loves his team, he loves London, tough 6 months or important 6 months, big 6 months. I don't know what was the phrasing. Was it tough? Did he say tough 6 months ahead?
I don't know. Your first time I've seen it is what you're telling me right now. But
I mean,
no matter what, it's going to be a tough 6 months at Chelsea. They have a lot of the competition for starting spots.
Well,
so
I think 6 months is also 6 months to the World Cup.
Yeah.
The World Cup's in 6 months. So, I don't know that there's controversy there. I think Mark probably realized it could be construed in some weird ways. So
we're getting Shadow Squad starting 11s in the chat too. People putting their own Shadow Squads together.
Okay, well, let's save it. Let's save it. Let's talk about whether or not Zlatan Ibrahimovic is the best player to ever play in Major League Soccer. Mr. DuBois, you're biased, I'm sure. I'm guessing. Although I don't know because you didn't want him in the first place, did you?
No, I was anti-Zlatan. I'll say that I was maybe wrong because here's the thing. And like I said, for me, I didn't see how Zlatan brings us trophies. And as a Galaxy fan, that's what you measure the success of the team at because you're the team that's got 5 championships. You're the team that's trying to set the bar out there.
By the way, before we go into this, do you want to tell the people what happened last week? Do you want to tell people what arrived on your doorstep last week?
Let me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're not wearing them?
I wore them the other day to pick up my kids from school. So Mr. Jason was nice enough to send me his Galaxy Gazelles.
I sent the Gazelles that the Galaxy sent me. I sent them to Jared DuBois with the tags on them. Yes,
tags are on them. But I did think you took about 3 months to decide if you truly wanted to part with them or not.
Oh, I did. My wife kept saying, "Are you going to send those to Jared?" I was like, "I don't know.
All right. What do you want me to send you in return? Do you want me to send you like a bag of carne asada you can cook up? I'll get you something.
No. Don't send me. Don't send me.
You want some raw meat? I get you some raw meat.
We'll talk. Okay. Maybe something you can send through the mail.
All right. So the Zlatan thing. So first of all, like I said, I didn't see a path where spending that money when we already had Ola Kamara, by the way, at that time. I didn't see how spending that money. Well, at that time we needed a midfielder, and the whole time we needed a midfielder. We needed someone that could connect the two offenses, and so I didn't think bringing Zlatan in was the best idea. That being said, one of the best DPs to ever be brought into the league in terms of entertainment value, goal production, which you're paying him to do. But what didn't come together was a team that could win. And that's where I feel that he comes up short as a Galaxy fan. Now, that does not necessarily take him out of the running, I think, for when you're talking about best player ever in MLS. Well, but we need to talk about what that means, though. What does best player in MLS mean to you?
That is exactly what it is. Now, I've always maintained, and honestly, I don't know, and I did say this on my radio show, which Jared can't remember. I sent you the shoes. Do you know at the radio show?
Like on the weekends, or?
No, not at all. Apparently, WNBC drop doesn't want to work, so unfortunately for Nick.
WNBC. WNBC.
Nick gets so mad. I said on my show that I had always maintained, and I think this might have been pre-Zlatan, I don't know, that Thierry Henry was the best pure soccer player to have ever played in Major League Soccer. Now, I maybe I hadn't updated it, and now I have to consider, is Zlatan Ibrahimovic a better soccer player than Thierry Henry? I don't know, because obviously Zlatan's got more goals.
When you say that, though, you're talking about the most complete player and or like skilled player.
Yeah,
because the other way to take this is who's done the most in MLS, and you maybe wouldn't talk about Thierry Henry when they talk about that.
Yeah, but I don't think he meant. Well, Zlatan can't say.
I don't think Zlatan meant that. I don't think Zlatan meant that at all. But I think for a lot of people, this conversation goes to who's the person who's done the most. Because if you're going to have that conversation in terms of if you're going to define the best as that, the conversation is around Dwayne De Rosario and Landon Donovan. I don't think there's another name if you're going to say who's done the most for the most consistent amount of years. Like who's been the best player in MLS. The damn MVP is named after Landon Donovan.
Yes, I know, but he only won one of them, by the way, which is a weird thing for an MVP trophy to be named after a guy who had won. No offense to Landon, great player, did amazing things for Galaxy and San Jose. But when you hear somebody make the statement, "Who's the greatest player?" Ask the question, "Who's the greatest player to ever play in MLS?" I don't think anybody thinks about that or best. Did he say best or greatest? I mean, that's the thing.
And here's another one. BD Smokey's got it in there. Bradley Wright Phillips is in this conversation. To be honest with you, in terms of who's done the most.
Yeah,
if you're talking about who's done the most, he's a conversation.
Accomplishments. You're talking about within MLS accomplishments. That's a completely different thing. That's not what Zlatan meant. Zlatan meant just the best soccer player. Look, hold on. You've got you're on your soccer team as a kid, and you guys have you're decent, whatever. You win some games. You got some good players, and then some kid moves to town, long blonde hair, crazy attitude. It comes from I don't know what you're in California, so it comes from Ohio, I guess. And he walks on, and he's the best player on the team. But then, like a year later, he leaves. No one's going to say, he achieved the most. They're going to say he was the best player we've ever had. That's what he means by that, right?
Okay, so I'm going to put three names out there. I think it's a 3-horse race. Okay? I think it's Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
I think it's Thierry Henry.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's Robbie Keane. And here's the reason why I'm throwing Robbie Keane in there. Because I think he's the player that unites these two arguments in terms of most skilled and best player and accomplishing something while here. No, that's the difference, I think, why you put Robbie Keane in there, and why he may be the answer to that question.
No, Robbie Keane was a really good soccer player who achieved a lot of things in Major League Soccer. But if you go back and look
a lot of goals,
sure. But what I'm saying is that if you're just talking about the best player, like if you watch him play, you know who the best player is on the field every single time he plays. The best player, it's Zlatan, it's Thierry Henry. I saw a shout for Kaká. Now Kaká wasn't incredible in MLS. He had like one or two good years.
Yeah, you can't get plaudits on the coattails of what you did in Europe. It had to be what you do while you were here.
It's not about. Okay, but now again,
you think Kaká's better? Kaká's, I think
you're digging into resume in terms of Zlatan had the most trophies when he arrived in MLS. Does that make him the greatest player? I don't know. I think it's more about, and this is why it's so freaking subjective. We're talking about just who is the best player. Period. Take him, drop him in any situation. Is he the best player on the field, or is he the best player that you've ever seen? It doesn't even matter if he did anything, if he won anything. And obviously, Zlatan didn't win anything with the Galaxy. In fact, that's the black mark against him, is that you look at his resume, the dude won a trophy, he won a championship at every spot he started, or every spot he went to, except for the Galaxy. And
Frank Orange County says this: Zlatan can only do so much. It's like when Pele came to the NASL and the Cosmos thought they could win with just one player. He's not necessarily wrong. Galaxy didn't have enough around Zlatan to do something great.
Cosmos had Carlos Alberto. They had Giorgio Canaglia. They had Franz Beckenbauer.
Also, I'm just talking about the Galaxy point, but you're right. I guess there was.
Well, I know.
But
I'm saying that Pele, to Frank's point, Pele had some boys playing with him.
All right, our boy Nicky Soup and Salad, the Sausage King of Chicago, wants to get in with a couple names that maybe we haven't thought of yet.
All right, hold on.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
Are we just basing this on name recognition?
Pure talent.
Oh, you want to throw Beckham in there? You want to throw Beckham in there with name
I do
talent?
not
You want to
wanna
talk about
throw
name? Oh, okay.
Pure
I do not
talent.
want to throw Beckham in there.
Let's be clear,
Talent.
though. Beckham is the biggest name that's ever come to MLS.
Yes, pure
I agree with
talent,
that.
especially at the time he came, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to throw a name in there.
Danielson?
And this guy came into the league, scored a ton of goals, assisted
Rafa
a
Marquez.
lot of
Oh,
goals,
no, Rafa Marquez.
and won trophies.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to go Giovinco. Now, he was not on the global stage
Sure.
at the level of Zlatan, Messi, Ronaldo.
Yeah,
But when he came in here, he was dominant.
I've thought of the right way to have this conversation. I've just occurred to me. If you had all of them lined up and it was a schoolyard pick first, which
That's
player
it.
are you picking?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
That's
the
it.
conversation.
Yes.
So if you had every one of those players up there, go
if
ahead.
the Monstars come from outer space, or we're playing the Monstars for the for the future of the universe, who are you picking on your team? That's what I want to know. Who's the best player?
Okay, each of us, let's go with our picks. Okay, so me, if you have everyone we just talked about lined up and every other player in MLS ever, I'm going to go with Thierry Henry.
I'm saying Thierry Henry. It's Thierry Henry.
Especially if it's five-a-side, because he's going to nutmeg
He's
fools.
going to destroy people. And Thierry Henry could do so many things. That's a great goal scorer. Don't get me wrong.
What about Nick? 'Cause here's a good test. Can Nick pick a guy from Arsenal? Can the Manchester United fan and Nick Soup and Sausage pick an Arsenal guy?
First of all, I was never an Henry fan. Also, I hated that he
hate
did not
beautiful
play on
things?
turf. Didn't play on turf.
He's
So
beauty.
automatically, for me, he gets disqualified.
What?
Wait, he's not. He's wrong for not playing on turf. We're not wrong for making him.
This is pickup. You need to pick the best player, Nick. You want to win. You don't have to like the guy. You can think French people smell funny. I don't care. Who's the best player that has played in Major League Soccer that if in his prime you would pick him to be on your
Wait,
team
not in his
against
prime.
the
We're not saying in his
Monstars?
prime. We're saying in his prime in MLS.
No, I'm saying that.
No, you can't give him credit for what they did in Europe, Jason. You can't plop it.
It's about the best soccer player to
He said he was
And
the
I'm
greatest player in
taking-
MLS. In
I'm
MLS.
taking Wayne Rooney.
Okay.
Freaking
It's not an insane pick. It's not the pick I'd make. It's not an insane
You think
pick.
Wayne
It is
Rooney,
a
when he
homer
came to
pick.
MLS, was better than Thierry Henry when he came to MLS?
See, I don't even remember when did Henry even come to Major League Soccer? What year?
2010,
it was still what,
2011?
MLS 2.0?
It might have been 11. Yeah.
It was 10 or 11, I
Forever
think.
ago.
Again, the quality of the league is not an issue for me. If you want to pull that in,
Right
fine.
after Juan Pablo Angel left, that's when he came into the league. That's when I think that's
2010. You
2010.
nailed it, Mr. Dubois.
12 years ago?
2010.
That was
Yeah,
the pre-best soccer show.
I mean, we also didn't. Okay, listen, because if you're going to talk best player in their prime, there was a conversation about Carlos Valderrama as well.
And I threw him out on the radio show too because I think he deserves mention. Absolutely, didn't play enough in Europe for people to go, "Oh, he's European." He was barely
not
there.
a lot of Colombians were going to Europe at that time. Either. Let's remember that
of
too.
course. Incredible in Colombia, incredible in the World Cup, incredible in Major League Soccer. Yes, I think he deserves to be mentioned, and that's what I'm saying.
So for the record, everyone's lined up on the schoolyard at the half line. Okay, I'm taking Henry. Jason's taking Henry. Nick's taking Wayne Rooney.
If we take, I'm especially taking Henry if you're talking about how good a player he was when he arrived, because and you look at Giovinco's not a bad shout for the kind of player he was when he arrived.
And I
Giovinco
still think
was
that's the
incredible.
actual conversation, Jason. I think that's the actual conversation
All right.
still. Like, what? How good were you when you were here? I think that's because if not, Gerard's in the conversation, and there's no way any of us are
Well, no.
considering Gerard in this
no.
conversation
But
because he was such a poor player in MLS.
As good as Gerard was, nobody would say Gerard was in Thierry Henry's category.
But if we're going to talk about Giovinco and we're going to give people credit for in Europe, then Gerard is miles above Giovinco. You know,
No,
but
but-
we're talking about in MLS. That's what we're talking about. Gerard makes the point.
Okay, all right.
I still
mean-
think it's a three-player race, and it's good shot to Wayne Rooney, honorable mention. But I still think it's a Robbie Keane, Zlatan and Henry
Keane over
conversation.
Rooney?
Keane doesn't belong in this conversation. You're insane for putting Robbie Keane in this conversation.
You don't think Robbie Keane did more in MLS than Rooney did?
No, he did. That's not. But I don't think that when you say the greatest player, the best player, I don't think that's where you should go to. Like, what did
you don't think when Robbie Keane came to MLS, he was a better player at that moment than when Wayne Rooney came to MLS? First year,
he probably was.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm not.
And he achieved while he was here. That's why I think Keane gets points for actually doing something while he was here. Granted, he had a much better team around him than Henry did.
No, that's that you can't.
And then Wayne Rooney
did. Yeah, Henry had Tim Cahill and Rafa Marquez for a little while. That was a disaster.
So if you're going to go, just to come back to this real quick before we tie a bow on it. If we're going to come back to best player career in MLS. Is it a two-horse race between Landon Donovan and Dwayne DeRosario, or am I missing someone?
You're talking about guys who only played in MLS.
Not only, but they did. Who did the most in MLS? Like, who is the all-time best MLS player?
I think
Bradley Wright Phillips is a dark horse in that conversation as well.
But BWP never won a championship. I think that's a big mark against him.
Scoring titles.
I think D-Rose tough because, man, I don't know. D-Rose tough because, especially in his early years, he wasn't the standout star. He was great, but he wasn't the standout star. That didn't come until later. And then by that time, but Danny's saying Wando. Wando had an incredible career. Wando didn't win anything.
He did early on. Yeah, he did. While with DeRosario, when he wasn't even the starter yet, I think
he didn't play. He didn't play for Houston. If he was on the but he doesn't. I don't. You give him credit for a championship in Houston when he played.
I'm not going to take it away from him. It's on his damn resume.
All right, I don't know. I mean,
you don't know how good of a locker room guy he was.
Didn't he win one when it was San Jose?
No, San Jose never won one. They won a Supporters Shield and then got beat in the playoffs in 2012.
Morgan's trying to give Bradley Wright Phillips credit for Supporters Shield. She's also trying to figure out a way to get a Philly player in here, and there's no way it's going to happen.
That's definitely not going to happen. No, I think the argument is, this is going to be wild. Chad Marshall.
It's hard to put a defender. Yeah, that's why you're cringing because he's like, a defender, but not many did it better.
He was great in Columbus. Then he went to Seattle. He helped him become a powerhouse in Seattle.
And despite all that, still his career ended too early.
Yeah.
Isn't the defensive player of the year named after him?
Did they name it after? They didn't name it after him yet. I don't think. People be clamoring for that to happen, but it hasn't happened. I'm sorry,
I didn't hear.
Defensive player of the year. Because he's won the most, or
I would wait just a second because Zimmerman might put together a career now that he signed a DP contract to stay with Nashville. It might be the Zimmerman award by the time this is all said and done. But Zimmerman's got to win some hardware.
By the way, do you think that just puts to rest any? And I know you're the one banging the drum. I don't think people really think it's going to happen, mostly because of the logistics of it and perceptions. But you're the one who says, "Oh, Walker Zimmerman could work in the Premier League."
Oh,
if he's on a DP contracts with Nashville, he's not going anywhere, right?
Yeah, it's a good bit of business for Nashville because A, you take care of the player, and then B, the price tag for his value. Nashville can't lose now. Like they have to demand a good price for Zimmerman that probably won't be met. To be honest with you, I don't think his value can equal what they probably value him here.
Way more to Nashville than he is to any.
But it's something we see teams do all the time. They don't do it with the DP usually, but how many times have you seen Dallas and other players sign a long-term deal for someone and then boom, sell them? But they're not DP contracts.
And Jesus Ferreira just signed a DP contract. I still think
he hasn't moved.
He could move. I'm saying he could. I don't think it's going to be this summer. I think that's probably going to happen after the World Cup. Walker Zimmerman though is 20. What is he? 28. If he's 28, then it's definitely over in terms of going to Europe, right? It's just
is Aaron Long's window's done too now?
Aaron Long's window probably
injury,
shut the last time they
turned
down West Ham. Yeah,
so unfortunate. So unfortunate.
Yeah.
But great bit of business. I'm so happy for him in Nashville that those two things.
This is another good shout. They've locked down a World Cup player. They locked down a World Cup player when they might get games in Nashville. He's the face of soccer in Nashville, basically, at this point.
Hey, that's a hell of a face. That's a handsome man. That dude can sell
you're going on
stuff.
record as Walker Zimmerman's a handsome guy?
Is that a hot take? Yeah, dude's freaking fine as hell.
I just want to know if you're on the record. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, she doesn't know it, but Morgan nodded.
I'm sure she knows it.
As the
Also,
resident
we've-
female voice of our show that doesn't really get her voice on the show enough, but as a resident female voice, she nodded.
Also the best name for a country singer among MLS players, right? We established that already.
Troy Dyack, for some reason, is like
No,
a good name.
current
Current.
crop. Don't be old guy right now. Be current crop guy. And Dyack is not a country name. It could be.
I think it though because he's one of the only MLS players that actually wore a cowboy hat off the field.
I know.
Oh man, is there a better MLS name player?
I mean, Clint Mathis is an incredible country singer name, but he's not active anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Man,
your
I don't know
first
that
name
we
is
have a better one.
If your first name is Clint, you have to have dropped some sort of album. Now, in the case of Clint Dempsey, it's not a country album, but there you go.
Kate Cowell kind of sounds like a country name.
You're right. It does. You're absolutely right. By the way, since we're there, before we do Shadow Squad, because who knows, maybe he'll come up.
Shadow Squad.
We are maybe verging towards dual national panic over Cade Cowell. You know,
Got a passport or something?
He's got a Mexican grandparent or grandparents. I'm not positive on the details. Somebody in the chat's going to tell me. And there is word out that he's going to go get his passport. That he's going to go get his Mexican citizenship. Now, maybe that's just to have options. I don't know. But perhaps
by the way,
Cade Cowell's flirting.
Nick has an honorable mention of Garth Lagerwey for a great country name.
Garth
but,
Lagerwey is good, but he's not now. I'm talking about current.
Okay, but in terms of the dual national thing, is it bothering you yet? Because there's something in the back of my head that's bothering me about Gregg Berhalter's total nonchalance about the dual national thing.
I don't think he's nonchalant at all. I don't think he tells
Really?
you shit.
He has said I've told guys that, hey, you do what you have to do, like to test the waters, like.
Why is it nonchalant? Why isn't that just like the best?
Why not?
thing to
Why not
do?
say because he even said I'm not a fan of predatory caps.
I hate predatory caps. I'm with him on that. I think they suck, and I don't think you should do them.
There's a reason dogs pee on things to make them theirs. The human, I mean, evolution of the animal species. You have to mark your territory. Piss on some dudes.
No, okay.
Damn, dog. Inappropriate.
Oh, we have so many problematic things happening right now.
We need R. Kelly to be our coach. Then we can have some players.
Oh no! My God, man.
We'd have dudes in the closet.
If we had, if this was a networked show and there was some, suit somewhere listening to it, we'd be off the air right now.
I'm talking about Regis and Kelly. What are you talking about?
right done.
If Regis and Kelly were in charge, we'd have some dual nationals.
I think predatory caps are bullshit. I do. I don't think it's right to lock a kid in because you might lose him and then not know if he's going to really feature for you. I think this is a problem for Jonathan Gonzalez, for example. I'm not saying Jonathan Gonzalez would want to switch right now, but he can't because he decided to declare for Mexico. They cap-tied him, and now he's baked. And maybe his career hasn't gone the way that they hoped, but if he did have a chance to play for the United States, it's done because he's locked into Mexico. I don't think that the U.S. should be in the business of taking a kid and cap-tying them just because there's a chance. They shouldn't do it with Gaga.
Who did you say just now?
Jonathan Gonzalez.
What official game did he play in?
I'm pretty sure he played at least in some official game.
I thought he just played in a friendly.
Well, maybe he filed his one-time switch. Either way, he can't come back.
Are you sure about that one?
The rules that's in place now was not in place then, as far as I'm aware. Which is if you capped once and there's a gap of two or 3 years and you're still under 23, you can switch. Somebody tell me the current FIFA bullshit rules on dual nationals.
I thought he had played. Didn't he play a friendly for us as well? Just maybe 4 or 5 months ago. He was called into a squad.
Not Jonathan, not Gomez.
Oh, excuse me.
Gonzalez.
Oh, I apologize. You're talking about the guy back from Chivas back in the day. Okay.
No, I'm talking about the guy who was at Monterrey.
He's from San Jose? Is that where he's from?
No.
Are you sure that he wasn't from San Jose?
Oh, you mean where is he born in?
Yeah,
San
where he's
Jose?
from. Yeah, from San Jose.
I don't remember where Jonathan Gonzalez was born.
I believe so.
What I'm saying,
I apologize. I think he said Jonathan Gomez. I apologize.
Gonzalez played for the U.S. youth national teams. He went down to Monterrey to play for Monterrey. The Mexican national team called him up. There was this whole thing about how the U.S. screwed up his recruitment. Thomas Rongen got roasted.
Jonathan Gonzalez was definitely one that we thought we missed one. It was one of the first ones that everyone was battling for, and we lost.
Everybody went freaking nuts over Jonathan Gonzalez. No, Jonathan Gonzalez, again, isn't at a point now where we're like, oh, we wish we had him. Right? He's not that player at this moment. But you don't know. And I don't think cap-tying players because you can is a good idea. So I'm with Greg on that. It doesn't mean that he's not talking to them. It doesn't mean that
Why isn't it a good idea? Expand on that. Why is it not a good idea? Oh, you got to take a drink for this
It's false promises. I mean, it's potentially giving these kids false hope or telling them that they might, like, if you cap tie a player, like, oh yeah, we definitely want you, come into our camp, cap tie the player, and then
you don't think Mexico's doing that with Efrain Alvarez and Julian Araujo?
It doesn't mean we should. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. I don't care what Mexico does. Is Mexico
so we need to take the high road, is what you're saying, not the competitive road.
I don't think that those things are mutually exclusive. I think you can be competitive. I think you can do the right thing, and I think you'll win players over to your side if you don't bullshit predatory cap. It's and look, it's again here's a good reason right here. It's bad for future recruit.
I don't know, man. Like, you could always say that the guy just didn't work out. It didn't end up being at the right level. Maybe he was at the right level when you capped him, and he's not at the right level now. All I know is that I'm gonna feel differently if we meet Poland in 2026 and Gaga's on the wrong team.
He's 17. What should we do with Gaga? He's 17. What should we do? Tell me.
You should bring him in for the Nations League this summer. That's what you should do.
And you should cap time.
Yes. Absolutely. You've got Matt Turner going to Arsenal and coming off an injury. You have Zach Steffen, who's been on an injury and probably needs some time off. He's got the back thing. The only reason not to cap him the Nations League is if you want to give Horvath a chance. But you got to bring multiple keepers anyway, and you can play them both at least a couple games. I think there's an honest conversation about who the third goalkeeper is right now.
But you're conflating two things. I'm not saying don't cap tie a player if you have a legitimate use for him and he's good enough to play for you right now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't cap tie a player on the promise that in 3 years he might be in your team, or he might have a chance to break through, or he might be a contender for a spot. I'm saying don't cap tie players before they're ready. That's what I'm saying.
We must have touched a nerve because there's 4 people waiting on hold now. There's 4 people waiting on hold. So let's see who wants to do.
I forgot about the phones. All right, let's go. Oh, okay. Should we do it? I guess we're gonna do it. Let me go ahead and get his drop ready. Do it right there.
Is that JTT?
OMFBG13, it's JTT!
I don't like your lack of enthusiasm.
You pissed me off, and I have a cough and a cold.
You
and I'm
want a
dealing
lack
with
of enthusiasm?
John Dannewald. What's up, John?
I'm sitting here screaming at the wall, Jared.
What?
I mean, look, I'm not the world's greatest defender of Gregg Berhalter.
Okay.
But the guy's got a record of winning dual nationals now.
Does he?
And the reason why he does it is because he says, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to go build a program that people want to be a part of, and you're going to see that, and you're going to want to be a part of it. And that's how he got Yunus Musa and Serginho Dest and a bunch of other guys.
Yeah, but he also lost a couple as well.
Who'd he lose?
Well, he's not going to win them all.
Okay, but you're also
there are so. Go ahead.
And potentially Gaga. Potentially.
We don't.
This is the one.
Hold on.
This is the one. But this is the one that bothers me. This is what because you just said he's a 17-year-old kid, right? 17-year-old kids make stupid decisions. If someone says, "Hey, you could potentially play this World Cup," or "I'll take you this World Cup," a 17-year-old might be dumb enough to say yes.
So hold on. You're saying that Berhalter should react to the threat of Poland cap tying him and panic himself?
Does Gaga have the potential to be a once in a generation keeper for the U.S.?
I don't know that.
Potential. I just said potential.
Sure, why not? Let's say yes. And
have you ever seen another?
You both were around. You both were around for Neven Subotic and Giuseppe Rossi, right?
Neven Subotic should have played for the U.S. So is Rossi. They're both better than any player we had at those positions.
Well, that's my point. These things. This is not new.
And I'm angered by the fact we lost them.
Did not start happening 6 months ago. And if nothing else, it's.
Where's the agency? Hold on, John. Why are you not applying? So Giuseppe Rossi was never going to play for the United States men's national
team. Not with that attitude.
If he had a chance to play for Italy, and he did, right? So
Agreed.
and this is why
Subotic I think we could have got Subotic potentially.
Sure, but this is why you have to give Berhalter credit, because up until Berhalter, and there may be a couple of examples where a player chose the U.S. over a stronger country or whatever. But Serginho Dest, at the time, I'm not saying now, but he is a Barcelona player, had a legitimate shot to break into the Dutch national team. Do you know how famous the Dutch national team is? Do you know who's played for the Dutch national team? The dude grew up in Holland, and he was like, nah, I'm going to go play for the U.S. You don't give Gregg Berhalter credit for that? Considering
I didn't say I didn't give him credit for that. I'm just saying he's bet like 500.
but consider that he flipped the power dynamics
Yunus
over.
Musa is more than one hit, more than one at bat, I think.
Oh, he's worth 1.5. He's weighted.
Oh my God.
To
Oh my
me-
God. I'm simply saying that.
Here's my thing. I get it. I understand all.
individually.
I understand all the points you're making, but what concerns me as the guy that lives in Southern California, the guy that lives right on the border with Mexico, I am worried about our inability to win that argument. That's the one that hits
That's
home for
fair.
me, and that's the
That's
one that we're
fair.
missing on.
It's fair. It's fair to a point.
I think, Jared, I think that's fair, but I think throwing Berhalter on the bus for the whole bus is not entirely fair.
Okay, so I understand that there's frustration over losing dual nationals to Mexico if they grow up in the U.S., if they play in an MLS system, whatever. First of all, just Ricardo Pepi chose the United States over Mexico. Now, I know he's not a Southern California kid. I don't know if he counts, Jared, because he's not from SoCal, whatever. But he did choose the U.S. over Mexico. That might be the first one. And then you could talk about Jose Francisco Torres, I guess,
Yep.
although I'm not
Yeah.
sure he had a legitimate
was a
shot
win.
at the Mexican team.
It was one.
The
Hercules Gomez was another.
Sure, Hercules Gomez, who, by the way, but Hercules
They
Gomez
got
was
him
a
before
player-
he went to Liga MX. I think if he had already been to Liga MX before he was
possible.
American, we might have lost
Very
that one.
possible. Yeah, absolutely. And Herc's pathway, from playing low-level Southern California soccer to being a Galaxy
Yeah.
player, that's a whole thing. But I think that the cultural pull of Mexico when your family lives in the U.S. is so friggin' strong. It's not something I even try to understand because I don't think I could. So I don't know that I can consider losing Alvarez and Araujo as losses. Oh, we got beat on that one. I don't think it's a competition.
Well,
when it
trust me,
comes to Mexico.
if you're watching Galaxy lately, you're not convinced
Here's
on
the
any of these
other
guys.
Mexico holds all the cards.
I'm with you, Jason, that it's those of us who are of the demographics that you are and I have cannot necessarily understand the emotions of it, no matter how hard we try. And I think Berhalter has that sort of self-perspective in his own mind, which is why he lets guys come to the decisions themselves. But I also think that one of the reasons why Mexico keeps coming up here for these players, why on earth is the Mexican national team not developing these players in Mexico? They're getting these guys because they need them.
I honestly think I think they do need him, but I also think that there is a subtle thing about every player that they get is one, even whether they have intentions of them or not, is one less we get, and I think they're callous enough to take that role.
Maybe
I
that's
disagree.
part of it. But I also think that it's marketing. They get Mexican American kids into the program to sell more tickets to Mexican American fans.
No, I agree with it's marketing, but it's marketing to every other dual national Mexican player out there that say we get these guys.
I also
Right.
think, Jared, that the U.S. pool, including all the dual nationals across the board, going to Europe, Africa, etc., is so big now. It's by a mile the biggest it's ever been.
Yeah.
That I don't much freak out about individual dual national panics anymore because the pool is so big that there are legitimately other guys now who can play all these positions.
I agree with you, John.
That's never been the case before.
I agree with you one thing, John, except for goalkeeper. I don't think we've established that we still make the Casey Kellers and Brad Friedels and Tim Howards anymore. So when I see Gaga Solina, which has the potential to be a generational player, flirting with another girl, I get a little bit jealous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get a little bit jealous. I get a little territorial with it. I want him to wear my Letterman's jacket.
Yeah.
And I don't get jumpy about a 17-year-old. He's really good.
You
Don't
wait till
get
they're
me
18.
wrong.
I appreciate that, John.
John, I'm going to let you go with that. Appreciate the call. That goes JTT. I don't know.
Love you, JTT. Love you,
I shouldn't
JTT.
fire back at you, but we do have other calls, and we do want to get to Shadow Squad at some point. So let's go to our man Frank in the OC. Frank, what's up, man? Frank, you're on the air, buddy.
What is up?
What up, Frank?
What's up, Frank?
Hey, what's up? So,
You got some medicinal
here's the thing.
What's happening? Sorry, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Listen, dual national. I think we should. I'm gonna just play it simple. We should stop doing this, okay? We did that with Jonathan Gonzalez, as he said, and where is he now? not even scratching the bench for Monterrey. He's nowhere near the plans of Mexico. And here's the thing: if we're just capturing kids just to capture so that another country doesn't get them, I don't think we're realizing that we may be screwing these kids' future, because maybe it's again, yeah, everyone wants to do a World Cup, but a World Cup is every 4 years. I mean, don't you think these kids have more of an ambition to play, like, say, Champions League or like something like that?
Listen, this is professional. But Frank, this is professional sports. Someone's going to screw these guys' future. So why not us? Why not us? Like, so everyone's going to look to do something wrong to these people.
You're going to go steal his lunch money and say, that's a lesson, learn it. That's what you
want to do? No, I see where you're coming from, Frank. I know where you're coming from. There is a bigger picture about it here. And I feel for that when the player is younger. But if a guy's in his 20s and playing at a big club, he should have the right people around him to help him make these decisions. And if he's saying yes, if he's old enough to say yes, he's old enough to play for us.
Okay, that's dangerous territory again. But I'm trying to figure out where the line is for you. That's what I want to know. What's the line? I mean, Gaga. So you're saying because of if you're good enough, you're old enough. 17 really doesn't matter because Gaga's good enough. But where?
I think he's good enough to be our third keeper right now. Do you have any issue with that?
But being the third keeper is
answer my question before you go on. Is he good enough to be third keeper right now?
Yeah, he's good enough. You're just going based on pure ability.
And if that's the case, it's not a predatory call-up. It's not a predatory cap. It is a deserved recognition and a potential.
That's what I said.
Spot.
That's what I said. If you're Berhalter and you're telling Gaga, we think you're ready to be part of our team right now, then yeah, that's fine. Call him up and halftime.
But here's my thing: by not doing it to this point right now, and listen, it would have been suspect to do it before now. I'll be honest with you. We've been let a wolf into the hen house. Now Poland's in here and they're having a conversation with him.
But they were always going to be a factor. It's not like you could do anything. I think it's irresponsible to rush a cap, and there was not one available anyway. You weren't going to captain Gaga Slonina in a World Cup qualifier. What do you bring him off the bench for 5 minutes as a goalkeeper? Let's save one of those substitutes. We got to get this Gaga kid in to cap time to the United States. And even then, you're talking about. I don't know. There was no opportunity, right? So your hands are really
there wasn't
tied.
much. You weren't gonna play him in a qualifier or anything like that. Despite the fact he was in qualifier camps, that tells you that Berhalter rates him.
Berhalter goes to him and says, "Look, we've got a keeper who's a backup at City and who has chronic injury issues. We've got a keeper coming off of injury who's going to Arsenal and is going to be a backup there. We got another keeper who just lost his job at Nottingham Forest despite the fact he was really good while he was starting. You might get a chance to do this, kid. We're going to call you up for the Nations League. And, hey, you might play. Do you see if he'll accept the call-up? I mean, extend the invitation. I have no problem with that. I'm just saying don't cap time if you don't think he's good enough now. If you think he's good enough now, cap tie his ass. Let's go. Let's go. Vamos.
I'm just saying there was a game we won, 5-0? Pretty in the 89th minute. What was that going to harm?
I gotta let you go, Frank. I gotta let Frank go. We got a couple other calls.
We haven't got the Shadow Squad yet.
I want to get to Shadow Squad. Let's go to Freddie in Houston, who's got a shout on the best player ever in MLS.
What up, Freddie?
Let's go, Freddie.
Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Before I get to the MLS best player, I feel like because we're on this topic of the dual nationals, I feel like if we take the high road, like one of you guys said, I don't know who said it, but like if we take the high road on the dual nationals, we need to have like a good program that like naturally just draws in players. But like we don't have that right now, right? Or am I wrong?
I think we got a culture.
I think Berhalter's working on. I think he's trying to make a cool kid table right now, and he's doing a good job of it.
And I think it is. I think that's why Musa is here. That's why you're hearing Falarin Balogun. I don't know if Falarin Balogun's going to decide for the U.S. There's a good chance he won't. He's got other options. He's not really American, but neither is Dest, neither is Musa, and these kids all chose the U.S. If you're part of that clique, if you get to be at the cool kids table, and the U.S.
Who doesn't want to chill with Weston McKennie? Like, who's Mexico got? Who are you going to chill with? Herrera?
I'm saying.
Like, who do you want to chill with on Mexico's team?
Trying to get that invite to Weston's party on Friday night when his parents are out of town. Everybody.
He's got the good stuff.
I heard he's getting a keg, man. That's what I heard.
No kidding.
He's getting a keg. Yeah. Let's go, Freddie. What else?
That's why I feel like right now we probably don't have that cool kids table, and that's why Mexico is like trying to get the next Pulisic, you know, the next McKinney, but that's a Mexican American.
I'm going to pivot that slightly, Freddie. I think Mexico has a history of having the cool table. I think Berhalter is actually slyly building the best one out there right now in CONCACAF. I think that table is turned.
I think it's interesting
Pardon the
that
pun.
while there are dual nationals the U.S. would not want to lose, Gaga is one of them. You know, who else? You know, throw the names out there because there are some other names.
Gomez.
Sure, Jonathan Gomez is a good example too. It's interesting to me that Mexico seems way thirstier right now.
Yeah.
The Marcelo Flores thing is interesting because they look real thirsty over that kid. I know he's very talented. He's at Arsenal for a good reason. Canadian Mexican player. I don't know if you know this player, Jared.
I don't.
Mexican Canadian player.
I feel like
Marcelo Flores.
What the U.S. did with McKinney and Pulisic and Reyna, and I think they're just trying to do that. They want that. America did something really good with the scouting with Reyna and McKinney and Pulisic, and I feel like Mexico wants that. They want that piece of the cake.
But listen, they want to get access to a player by the same time doing us harm. I can't fault them for it.
Maybe. Appreciate it. So apparently what I said earlier about Dest and Musa, something about American, Derek has taken issue with this.
I think you were quoting the average like dirtbag that says that. I don't think that was your thing.
I may have implied something, but what I was saying is that culturally they didn't grow up in the United States. That's all I'm saying.
I think you have to remember, you hear people say that all the time on the radio, so I think you're quoting people that call you and say that a lot. That's how I took it.
Whatever. Even if I didn't mean it that way in the moment, what I meant was that those guys did not grow up in the United States. They are Americans. Of course they are.
Why is Nick yelling Jaime Moreno at us? What's up, Nick?
Jason hung up before Freddie could get to his...
I don't have time for
his best player in MLS?
Jared has railroaded the show with his dual national nonsense.
It came up
He was
naturally.
giving Jaime Moreno a shout out as the best player.
He did mention Jaime Moreno.
That's a good shout. If you're talking about like in the Landon Donovan De Rosario conversation, Jaime Moreno unfortunately was a little bit older when he started in MLS anyway, so I think he had a little bit less and he had to play into some of his later years. But I still think he's fantastic.
Jaime Moreno came from when he joined DC United. Do you remember what club he came from?
Oh God, I don't remember. Was it Colombian, Argentinian?
No, it was English. He came from an English club.
Really?
Yeah,
I remember that.
He came from Middlesbrough, if I remember correctly.
No way. I did not know that. Did he have yellow hair there?
So we have a decision to make with, 15 minutes left in our normal run time. Do we want to get to these calls?
Rapid fire. And let's be upfront about it. You got like a minute to make your point. Let's go.
Okay, well then we're just going to go in order because Randall's been waiting the longest. He wants to talk about the championship.
But Randall, we still love you.
At all. Randall, what's up?
Hey guys. The thing I do want to talk about CCL, but the other thing about dual nationals, there's a good chance that can always end up biting you in the butt, mainly because Mexico's ironically having an issue with one of their prospects, Arsenal Academy, basically trying to get on the plane now and is really looking for a reason to use the option of going to Canada instead to do that. Like, you can bite both ways.
It definitely can. Yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, I don't know. There's no easy way to handle these things, right? And my issue usually is don't chase a player just because they're a dual national, right? So if and I know this is all very subjective, it's based on scouting and how you view that player's future and all of that. But I feel like as a fan base, we freak out over players who have options before we even assess whether they're going to be good enough or we care if they're good enough. Now, again, Gaga's not necessarily a good example of this. I'm not suggesting Gaga's not good enough. But occasionally we go, oh my God, he's a dual national cap time. And it's like,
wait a second. Do you have a example of that?
Do I have a good example of a player we freaked out over?
You missed my joke. You missed my joke.
What
I said, do you have a...
that was...
Oh,
okay.
God.
What? That was well crafted. You guys just missed it.
Okay, you want to add anything else here, Randall?
He had another point. What was your point, right?
Yeah.
CCL.
Yeah.
Do you think CL can do it? And if they do, how much pain would Portland fans be in if they do?
I don't think I'm too far down the West Coast to answer that appropriately for the Portland fans, but I'll say this: 69,000 fans, Marshawn Lynch, and at home. If you're ever going to do it, you have the deck stacked in your favor.
Yeah, and
if you don't, it's on you. Like they're not taking the season seriously. They're not taking the MLS season seriously right now.
Not yet.
So they have set themselves up for success on this.
And I'm not saying either penalty was wrong down in Mexico City necessarily, but they got some magic on their side that we don't usually see MLS teams get in the Champions League. So
hey, it's kismet.
Well, that's the thing. But the the bigger they are, whatever that phrase is, I can't think of anything anymore. If you have that opportunity and you are up here, you can drop real hard if you don't get this done, right? The point is that obviously Seattle has everything going for them going into the second leg, and if they don't get it done, it's maybe the biggest disappointment for any MLS team in history, right?
Yeah, because a lot of times I feel like we were playing the second leg of the final in Mexico. And I think that's a tough thing. They did the job away, whether they got help or not. There's been plenty of teams that have beat American teams with help. So if it falls in our favor this year, it falls in our favor this year. At the end of the day, no one's going to remember anything other than the fact that one of these two teams won. They're not going to remember how.
Right. Randall, appreciate the phone call. Again, we're going to do rapid fire a little bit. Let's go to Jose, who wants to talk about dual nationals, and then we'll get to Shadow Squad. Jose, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I used to call back in the day when you had the morning show, so I'm happy to call again now. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. My name's Jared. I do the show with Jason.
What do you like?
I never had a morning show. So I want to make sure he knows who I am.
That's because you were gainfully employed in something that was better than what I was doing. Anyway, go ahead, Jose. Sorry.
I'm just kidding, Jose. What's up, man?
First time with you, so it's nice to meet you as well. And what I want to say is that I think when we talk about dual nationals, I think we have to be careful with giving an unfair advantage to dual nationals over people that aren't dual nationals. So maybe there's two players that are at the same level, and you don't want to put yourself in a situation where a dual national gets more of that sense of urgency because they're a dual national. I think we've got to be fair to all the Americans.
I think that's kind of what I was saying. I was kind of saying that earlier, Jose. I agree with you. But also, and look, I'm not saying that you do things in order to protect the egos and the fragileness of the players who aren't dual nationals or the parents of players who aren't dual nationals, because they get real antsy about stuff like this. But yeah, you have to be careful.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but our Lord and Savior, Johnny Infantino, has given us this wonderful thing, this gift, and it's called the Nations League. It's this beautiful thing that is both an official FIFA sanctioned game that also means nothing.
I actually think that
it's literally made for this exact thing of cherry picking internationals. Like this is where you cap people. It doesn't matter.
But would we be better off looking at what the goalkeeper for Seattle is doing, maybe with the national team? He's certainly older, but he might be better for the World Cup or to put on the jersey right now.
I don't disagree that Stephen
we might be giving.
Yeah, I don't disagree that Stephen Fry is a great keeper, but that conversation was for Jurgen Klinsmann 6 years ago. Like, go back. We can't turn back time now. If we were going to start him and down this path, we should have started him back then.
So you're going to the World Cup. Hold on, Jose. You're going to the World Cup tomorrow, Jared. You're picking your team.
Yeah.
You've got two goalkeepers you're not quite sure about their form. You got Stephen Fry killing it in Major League Soccer, and you got a 17-year-old Gaga Slonina playing for a bad Chicago team, but he's keeping the goals out of the net.
Bad Chicago team?
Okay, they're not great. They don't score goals.
Their points are good, though. Let's put it like their standings are decent.
Okay, decent.
They were undefeated for the first 4 or 5 weeks.
They literally cannot score goals.
Don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that that's trash.
Okay, forget what I said about the team then. You're taking Gaga over Stephen Fry is what you're telling me.
If I have a World Cup game tomorrow, Stephen Fry.
Okay. All right, Jose, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, the other thing I just wanted to say is, we need to be also careful about using resources to build up our competition. You know, we don't want to start using our resources in the United States, particularly those that benefit the national team, to build up our opposition where maybe other countries are lacking in that department.
Interesting.
Mexico in this case.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean, you can't. Thanks for the call. You can't, change your approach because of fear that you're going to have players poached, right? You can't do that. I mean, this is what the Galaxy ran into for a long time with their academy, Jared, is that there were because MLS wasn't aggressive on homegrowns and signing homegrown players to contracts, they lost control of players, or they didn't have control of players until they were 18 or whatever and promoted them. Those players could be poached by Mexican academies. So you had kids who were 14, 15 who were the best in the Galaxy and Chivas USA academies getting poached right off the training ground to go down to Mexico to play for Monterrey, to play for Tijuana, to play for all these teams.
Oh, yeah. Guys like Paul Arriola, guy like Haji Ray. Haji Ray didn't go to Mexico, but like we've been poached plenty.
You don't stop developing players because you're afraid of that. You just have to be good enough or better at giving those kids a belief that they're going to play. And that
but we'd be lying to ourselves if we don't think the Galaxy would have been better if we had kept Haji Wright or Paul Arriola to be starters in this in our senior team.
No, I know.
There's still a loss there.
I'm just saying to Jose's point about resources. It's tricky because there are things that prevent the United States rather, or MLS from controlling these players in the same way that they might be under a club's control in other places.
All right, I know you're this radio guy that thinks he has to hit these moments and has to be like out at the top of the hour and stuff like that. But this is a podcast, dude. You don't understand. This is the wild, wild west of broadcasting, okay? So we're doing Shadow Squad right now, and I don't care that there is 4 minutes left in the quote-unquote timeline of the show.
Do you want to do an hour and a half show? Well, no, I was just going to present you with the opportunity to do Shadow Squad for the bonus show.
No, because we teased it to our audience, and our audience is more than just our besties. You know, we love our besties.
You're right. Okay. All right. Shadow Squad. Fair enough. All right. So after all of that, very good stuff. Not hating on any of it. It's time to do a Shadow Squad exercise, which is Jared came to us before the show and basically said, let's pick an 11, meaning some form of a team, defenders, midfielders, forwards, goalkeeper, that you would want to see. These players you would maybe want to see get a chance to be in that June camp. Did not have a single appearance, no caps in World Cup qualifying. That's the one rule here. So this is the ultimate Shadow Squad. We're not talking Mark McKenzie. We're not talking about Eric Palmer-Brown. Eric Palmer-Brown is off the list.
Yeah.
Because he got 11 minutes in a World Cup qualifier. So he is
can't talk about him
longer. There you go. All right, Jared, how do you want to do this? Tell me how you want to do this.
Let's go from back to front. Just like you wipe.
Wait, did you made this mistake before?
Front to back. My bad. Front to back.
That's the second time now.
Front to back. My bad.
Damn, dog, that's in a pro.
Okay.
I use a bidet, man. I don't think about it that much.
What are we going front to back? Or are we going back to front? I'm just forget the white.
We're gonna go back to front, but we're not gonna do anything else back to front. Just this lineup, okay?
You were in a hot tub with some people. I don't want to even know. I'm not even trying to go there. All right. In that case, let's start with the goalkeeper. I hear we did not agree on this, and I understand why. Go ahead now.
Really? Because I did go Gaga. I think that you bring him in for the summer, you try to get that cap on him in the Nations League, and make this a foregone conclusion. Who'd you go with?
By the way, if it comes to fruition,
Sausage King of Chicago.
I feel like Gago Slonina is a better candidate for Sausage King of Chicago.
Oh, for sure.
Look, and he's not even really Nicky Soup and Sausage.
And I've never seen him in the shower, but I'm just assuming.
Nicky Soup and Salad. Okay, Nicky Soup and Super Bowl. All right. So I went with Ethan Horvath because to me it makes sense that you would give a shot to the one player who was kind of around the team and came in late when you had some injuries, you had some issues. He earned himself a starting spot again at Nottingham Forest. We've obviously seen him do great things for the national team and the Nations Cup final and Nations League final and everything. So I went with Ethan Horvath. I don't have a problem with Gaga, but I
don't think there's a bad choice between those two on this one.
Okay.
It's personal preference.
Right. Let's go to the back line then.
You want to start left back, right back?
Let's start at left back because I think we're going to be.
I went pie in the sky on this.
Ooh,
I don't think it's necessarily going to happen.
I forgot. This is
my
mistake.
I went Jogo on this one, man.
Yes,
I went Jogo on this one.
Did.
But is there any chance he says yes to this call up? If he does, I don't know. Is he ready to make that decision?
If there's a cap on the table that would. And there's only 2 games, right, that could tap cap time, the Grenada game and the El Salvador game.
Yep.
If there are caps on the table, I mean, he might accept the call-up and then say, I don't want to play the Nations League, or I don't want to be cap tied.
That's kind of bullshit.
You think, like, so basically, like, oh, if you're not willing to be...
That's like when you ask a girl to the dance and she goes, oh, why don't we go as a group? You know, like, I don't really want to go with you. I don't really want my pictures to be, like, 10 years from now to be with you, but I'm okay with you being in them, and this might be cool.
Yeah, you stand over there. I'll stand over here.
We'll meet at a friend's house all together. We'll take group pictures.
But he is the pick. I blanked on him because I don't think you're right. I should have thought of him. I don't know why I didn't. Jogo is the choice.
What was yours?
I thought you might do DeJuan Jones, which I get why.
I love me some DJ Jazzy Jones.
But I went with Kevin Paredes. I know he's not necessarily a classic left back, but I went with Kevin.
Now that's
Paredes.
funny because while we're talking about him, I put him in my forward category.
Okay, well, he could be up there too.
I just because we're talking about him, I have him up there because I was having trouble kind of filling out that line, and I figured this way I get both of them in the conversation.
I may have cheated a little bit up there, but
I cheated a little bit too, as you can see.
Okay, so let's go to right back then before we get to center back. Let's go to right back.
This has to be chalk, right? This has to be chalk. It has to be Joe Scally.
It's Joe Scally. Of course, it's Joe
There's no other name. We've played
is.
every other right back there is. We've played them all in qualifying.
Except for Brian Reynolds, I think. But yes.
Brian Reynolds isn't playing.
No, he's in Belgium. He's playing. He's playing in Belgium.
If you're playing in Belgium, are you playing?
Yes, because Sam Vines is there, and I almost put him at left back.
Okay.
I mean, he's there.
I just think that if the conversation is Bundesliga player that's featuring and playing well versus Belgian player that had to be loaned out from Italy.
I think it's a perception thing. I'm not saying that Joe Scally's not better than Brian Reynolds, but it is definitely weird to be like, well, he's so far ahead. I don't know.
It's not just that; it's the dual-sided thing too. It's another, another tool in the belt. You know?
I'm not arguing that one. We both have Joe Scally on the list. All right, center back is a bit of a reach because we've gone through all of them.
A lot of center backs played.
I'm going to guess neither one of us put Matt Miazga on this list. You put Matt Miazga on your list? Oh,
I couldn't. I was like, well, here's one thing. I was like, did Aaron Long play in a qualifier?
He did. Yeah,
he did. He subbed in right at the end. So it was that or Justin Shea. I was like, I couldn't think of like someone else to kind of put in there.
I put Justin Shea. I mean, I took a shot. I mean,
more power to you. Here's my thing. Matt Miazga has had chances, and just before you go to the World Cup, maybe give him one last look. That was my thing. I don't know. I don't know if Justin Shea's there yet. Matt Miazga has at least been at he's played for the team, you know. Yeah. But it also feels revisionist to go back to him. It's probably not a good call. I felt dirty putting it down.
I admit that, like Matt Miazga seems old and tired, and that's the reason I didn't put him on my team, on my shadow squad. I don't know that's fair. The other center back, I think we agree on, right?
Yeah.
Well, the other one is
closed caption vision.
But I think you have to go. Cameron Cotter-Vickers or something like that.
Cameron Cotter-Vickers?
Cameron Cotter-Vickers?
Vickers. You can't even say the C or K. It has to be Vickers.
Vickers. Killing it for Celtic in Scotland right now. And, there may not be universal agreement on how good Scottish.
Wait, so did he end up being defender, like best team 11 or not? Because I saw both. Like it was tweeted out with him not and with him in.
I don't care about that accolade stuff. I just know that he played.
I'm sure he does.
Well. Yeah, he probably does. There are rumors about him going back to the Premier League. Celtic wants to make the deal permanent, but is he going to turn down the opportunity to go? And Fulham might be in for him, which would be interesting because we'd be swapping. I'm guessing swapping out Tim Ream for Cameron Carter-Vickers. Although Timmy Ream killed it with Fulham. He's not on my shadow squad. Well, he played in the qualifier, so it doesn't count. But we weren't going to put him in anyway, which is wild to consider.
I think he's probably top 3 in terms of players you want to see in the summer. Like he has to be one of those top 3. Yeah.
Cameron Carter-Vickers. I'm going to do it all night now. All right, so that's the back line. You want to move to the midfield? Tell me what you got.
I think there's a chalk. I think I'll start with a chalk pick. I think I'd be surprised if you and I both don't have Jordi Mihalovic on this.
Okay, so this is where I fudged a little bit. I did not have Georgie in my midfield. I have him in my forward line. So we'll come to that in a second. So you put Georgie in. He's obviously one of your 8s, one of your advanced midfielders. Who's your 6? Who's your defensive midfielder? Because that was dicey.
This is where I'm going to get some flack from people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Mark Delgado.
Marky Delgado? Wow.
I think he's playing fantastic, man.
Okay.
Here's the other thing. We've used so many 6s during qualifying, and like we've tried guys. Are we talking about who else would we talk about? This guy's not
on my list. This guy's not on my list. But you would go Marky Delgado, and let's admit the bias that Jared DuBois brings to the table with Marky Delgado over Johnny Cardoso.
Have you ever been impressed with what you've seen from Cardoso?
No, I have
I'm just feeling like this is, this is the opposite of what I just put Matt Miazga back there. So I'm working against my own logic right here, and I'm understanding that. I
Okay.
didn't feel good about putting Miazga back there.
Okay, well, I didn't pick either one of those guys. I went with James Sands because I don't like. I know in New York he played as a dual holding midfielder. He wasn't by himself. He had
Jimmy Boom Boom Sands.
What's his name? Morales? He had Morales next to him last year.
Yeah,
for NYCFC.
I would rather revisit Morales than Sands in the summer.
Really?
To be honest with you,
Ooh,
yeah,
interesting.
I
Okay.
thought Morales had a fantastic season last year for the New York.
All right, so I got Jimmy Sands. I don't know. It's a flyer, and you're right. There aren't a lot of sixes.
What did we say his mobster name was? Was it just Jimmy Sands? It was Jimmy something, wasn't it?
No, it's Jimmy Sands.
Jimmy Sands. Oh, it's Jimmy Sands.
Jimmy Sands.
Why are we both doing a Jay Leno?
I don't know. It's Joey Pants and Jimmy Sands.
I've definitely throw Eric Wilson in there. I just want to see him a little bit longer. You got to remember how hot he was. Wait, did he play a qualifier before he got injured?
No, he did not. But the thing about Eric Williamson is he's not, just like Jimmy Sands and some of these other guys, he's not necessarily a classic lone six. That's not really his role.
Whereas Delgado is.
And he hasn't played it with the national team. He's struggled. He's admitted to struggling with Berhalter's system, which is kind of gives me pause. Tanner Tessman also got mentioned here.
Yeah, Tessman would be a good shout. Tessman would be a good shout. I thought about putting him, but I went Homer.
You already went Georgi Mihailovic for one of your picks.
I have one more spot left.
I'm gonna take this. This is definitely a flyer. This is me. I don't know that he's shown enough yet. Kind of in the Eric Williamson mold. I'm putting Paxton Pomykal on here because
even Paxton himself said he's not due for a call up.
I know
his own quote says I'm not there yet.
I know, but I just think he's got the toolbox that we need for that position. And bring me the toolbox. There's nobody who's closer to
somewhere. You're on the Paxton Pomykal forums. Like advocating for him. Like he's your boy. Listen, he's your boy. I went a different way. I went with a creative player that's getting a lot of run, a lot of people talking about him. I went with Alan Sonora.
So did I. I went with Alan Sonora in the other spot. So I have Paxton Pomykal and Alan Sonora.
Okay.
So I have Sands, Sonora, and Paxton Pomykal. So you went with
Sonora, Mihailovic, and Delgado. So there you go. We both have Alan Sonora in there. I think that's. I'm the one that took a true six, though.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Fair enough.
Top.
Let's go to
all right. So I've already said I have Paredes up there. Did we hit any of yours already?
I put Georgi Mihailovic up there.
Okay. Now, so we both have one of our spots.
I thought about Georgi in the midfield, but I don't know that he's perfect for that spot. I know he's not perfect for the forward spot either in the system. I'm throwing it.
It's okay. It's Shadow Squad.
Plus, I wanted to get Sonora and Pomykal in here somehow, so I needed Georgi in the front line because I'm absolutely.
No one's playing defense on your team. No one, the front six. No one's playing defense on your team.
No, we're a little dicey on defense. I'll admit that. But again, Shadow Squad can do that. Shadow Squad doesn't have any rules. All right, so you got.
Wait. Morgan's saying someone played in a World Cup qualifier.
Who did?
Let's see here. Sands.
Jimmy. Oh, did he play? I don't think he ever played. Did he play?
James Sands, according to Morgan. Fact check Morgan.
Okay. How did I miss that? All right. Well, in that case,
you're thinking Johnny Cardoso.
No, I'm not putting Johnny Cardoso in there. Oh man, now that makes it
Delgado gets the spot. I don't know what to tell you. Only one of us picked a viable lineup.
Give me the kid. Give me Obed Vargas from Seattle. Give me him, the 16-year-old kid from Seattle, the dual national. I'm gonna panic over the dual national. Bring in Obed Vargas.
Oh, okay.
And cap tie him.
Yeah, that's what the Nations League is for.
I didn't think Jimmy Sands had actually made an appearance.
I didn't remember that either, man.
Okay, so you got Kevin Paredes. I got Georgi Mihailovic. Let's go to the other side of the forward line before we go.
Here I fudged a little bit. This probably isn't an actual wide forward, but I went Brandon Vasquez just to get him into my team.
Oh, well, it's kind of cheating a little bit, I suppose.
Listen, I cop into it. I'm not saying
okay. Well, I put Kate Cal in there.
I had him before I switched him for Paredes.
Okay, well, I put Kate Cal in there. I like the kid. He's physical as hell. He's got
just came back from injury though.
He did, and obviously it's tough to judge because there's the change in management at San Jose and everything else. But again, as I mentioned, maybe dual national. Let's go ahead and panic over him. So there you go. All right, yeah, the Honduras game. I blocked it out, guys. I'm sorry. I blocked out the Honduras game in Honduras. Let's go with the center forward spot, Jared.
Once again, I'm hoping that this is chalk. Because I think the right answer here right now, given the injuries to Daryl DK, who else played, Haji Wright.
Haji Wright's the answer. This is 100% an agreement on our part. Yes.
Even after the hype, he still scored again this weekend.
What, the hype usually kills off scoring?
I'm just saying, like, remember Matthew Hoppe? Like, the hype hits, you know?
I for one moment, I thought about Matthew Hoppe and then went, no, it's not. He's not playing. Got to play. I do like his attitude, but he's got to be playing.
And we do have some folks saying that Brandon Vasquez was a winger in the
whatever. Don't look. They're helping you out. It's all good. It's fine. It's a shadow squad. It doesn't matter. Did you hear the story that Atlanta is interested in Matthew Hoppe?
Of course, yeah.
So they sent their scout,
Jonathan Spector,
by the way. They sent Jonathan Spector over to Mallorca to check on him, and apparently they train behind closed doors, and he couldn't watch training.
How does this happen in the age of the internet?
I don't think
in the age of the internet.
It really happened. You think it really happened?
What do you mean? Why would someone report that if it didn't happen?
We live in the age of misinformation.
Okay.
What are you seriously?
Maybe are you saying there's a QLS? Like there's like a MLS like QAnon out there that's out there putting disinformation out there?
I'm saying that content creators sometimes fudge to get clicks. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird story to tell, but I don't know. It's possible.
Somewhere out there, Alex Jermaine Jones is like feeding out like wrong information.
Give me some.
If you leave those Eurocommy pinkos, they took Jonathan Spector all the way over across that great big Atlantic Ocean just to push him back to the United States. This is what they think of Americans.
Oh man, Stuart Holden and what's his name? The basketball player. I'm blanking on his name. Give me the basketball player.
Which one?
Yeah, the guys who invested in Mallorca. The guy.
Oh God, I don't remember who it was. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was.
Okay, I thought you were on board.
Yeah, how does Stuart Holden not give his homie a heads up?
That's why it's weird to me. Stuart Holden didn't tell Jonathan Spector not to go over there, or maybe he told.
Do you ever go over to your friend's house without checking first to see if they're home? You just go knock on the door.
I mean, back in the day, we did for sure.
Yeah,
back in the
can
day,
Jason come out and play? Hey,
yeah, pretty much.
Do you think Matthew Hoppe come out and play?
Do you think that ever happens now? Like honestly,
someone knocks on a kid knocks on a kid's door. Yes, and here's why. Okay. Yes, because not all of them have phones yet. At a certain age, there's an age before they have phones where they will knock on the door. But also, there's the virtual knock now, which is the Discord call. That's the virtual knock on the door.
See, that's weird to me. But I get it. I mean, I understand why. It's just weird to me. It's just Hoppe played 4 minutes today.
All right, so that's your Shadow Squad starting 11, folks.
Squad. Oh wait, why do I do it like that? With my own voice when I have this one?
Shadow Squad.
Are you saying that's not your voice? Yeah,
that is also my voice, but it's a Shadow Squad. I can't.
So that and the J Road, is those the only two that you've done with your voice, or do you have other ones?
That one's different timbre. Different.
Well,
that thing is probably 9 years old.
Well, that was MLS's awesome pew pew kind of days, right?
Oh man, long time ago. Pew pew boom. Pew pew boom in there. Got to the boom.
I get the boom boom ree.
I remember that too. Yeah.
Two boomeree.
Oh man.
I like that boom boom ree.
A walk down memory lane and all of that. Shadow Squad and dual national panics and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Anything else, Mr. DuBois? Anything else?
I think that's it, guys. I mean, I hope you guys are enjoying. It's a little bit of the slower part of the season in terms of U.S. men's national team. We're getting a little bit of MLS in here where we can. Listen, even if I'm a Galaxy fan, good luck to Seattle. I hope you all do it. I hope you can be the first team since the LA Galaxy to pull this off.
Yeah, I did you say that really? Come on.
What?
You know that's not true.
That's not true.
Well, it's not the same. It's like, I don't know.
Were we the last kings of CONCACAF in MLS?
It's like Daniel LaRusso winning the All Valley without Cobra Kai being involved. It's not the same.
Wait. That's not what that was. It was just a different name of the competition. It's not like Mexican teams weren't in it.
No. They were, but the competition happened entirely in the United States. It was a mini tournament in like a window. It wasn't multiple legs. They weren't.
You can only play what's in front of you, son.
But it's not the same.
You know what else was the
same?
You know what else was only in the U.S.? League of Nations. Does that not mean anything either?
League of Nations.
Nations League. Sorry, not League of Nations. Nations League.
Oh yeah, the Nations League.
So it doesn't matter because it was all in the U.S.
Finals. There were other games before that. But yeah, you're right. You could argue that the Nations League doesn't have as much value. Mexican fans will certainly tell you, like, oh, yeah, you beat us 3 times, but only in the U.S.
I don't know why you're against America.
Mexico. Here's the thing, Mexico. You got to play games in your own country outside of qualifiers because it's getting ridiculous, right? They never play any time. They don't play. All their friendlies are in the U.S. Anyway.
There won't be long. There will be a World Cup qualifier. Mexico plays in the U.S. It will happen.
Probably happen. FIFA gets weird about stuff like that, but it probably will happen. All right. Hit us up at patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. You get a bonus show pretty much each and every week. You get access to the Bestie Slack, which is pretty nuts right now. All kinds of stuff happening over there.
A lot going on.
Yeah, I can't keep up, man.
There's a
Every
dad jokes channel now.
There's a dad joke. Shout out to Nate, who started a dad jokes channel. Have you contributed yet? Because I don't.
I haven't. I'm not good at them. Like, I don't remember jokes. I'm really bad at remembering jokes. Like,
yeah, me too.
I don't know.
Me too.
I can't.
Me too. Just naturally funny in the moment. Not a joke guy so much. What else? Apple Tunes, podcast places. Send us, give us reviews.
Follow us on all of our socials. Miss
right.
Morgan's doing her work over there on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of those.
It's time to pick up again on the reviews. Like, we've been slacking a little bit. We haven't been telling you. It's time to go do it again. Hit us up over there. Give us a 5-star rating and a review. Throw in some of your favorite catchphrases from the show. Jared, what's your favorite What's your catchphrase? What do you say all the time?
I say something.
I was hoping you got.
I don't think I have a catchphrase, man. I don't think I have a catchphrase. You got like, here we go. You got, I have a radio show. Like, I don't have any catchphrases.
Based on when the thing started, I think your catchphrase is, put your keys in the bowl, your robe is in the other room. I think that's your catchphrase.
You know what you could do? You could leave us a review and you could put your Shadow Squad 11 in there.
Oh, do that. Yeah, definitely do that. Your Shadow Squad. Go deep on your Shadow Squad.
And we'll pick, if you do, we'll pick one to read on the air.
Anything else? Any other business? Am I forgetting anything?
I think that's it, buddy.
No, that's it. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Damn, dog, that's inappropriate.
Danger zone! Get to the chopper! You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
The horror show. Oh, it's incredible!
It was there. Oh, here we go. Saucing them up. Hit him. What? What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Danger zone!
That's him, Iceman.
Eddie, what have you done for me lately?